leeway. I'm willing to give him a lot of deference on things that he says. And I'm like you, and I, we talked about it before we came on the air. We both scratch our heads at some of the things he says. We do, and we just look into the TV and say, "Why did you just say that?" And there's no answer why he just said that. We don't know what is going through the mind of Donald J. Trump sometimes. But then you back up and you say, well, what's the alternative? And again, I go back to what I said. People are more upset about what he says instead about what she's done, and that is something that's very bad. And somebody said this the other day, and I'll give it back to you for a minute. It's not that Hillary Clinton is crooked, because we all know that. It's not that she's corrupt. We know that. when you have nations paying billions of dollars, millions of dollars into a foundation for a pay-for-play scheme to get favors from the Clinton State Department, which she has, there's no denying that. That is proven fact. And then people just shrug that off and say, well, that don't make her unqualified for office. The bigger problem is her followers. People that don't understand the depth of that corruption will vote for her no matter what she does. That is more scary to me about the state of our country than Hillary Clinton herself, because she is a known product, and that is the complete queen of corruption, hands down.
There's an old Latin term that students learn in law school. It's called re ipsa loquitur, and that means the thing speaks for itself. And Hillary Clinton's record speaks for itself, although half the voters in this country would vote for her, regardless of what that record was. Regardless, and her record goes all the way back to the state house in Arkansas.
It does.
Some schemes that went on there. Whitewater was a big scandal. People went to prison over Whitewater. Jim McDougal, and Jim wouldn't rat on his friend. Susan wouldn't rat on her friend, so she went to jail. Jim did. That was Susan's husband. But people went to jail over that Whitewater scheme, and it's always been one scheme right after another. Look at the incidents of the state troopers who protected and drove Bill around from one house to another house to another house on his way back home. So the corruption and these schemes have followed those two since the early days in Arkansas. But it doesn't matter. People do not care. They talk about it. They would talk about it if it was Donald Trump. But with the Clintons, it's okay.
Well, and look, we can add a few to that list. I mean, you had the scandals in the White House with Bill and Monica. You had all the sex stuff. You had everything, the lying under oath, the perjury charge. And I think some of it, Tom, and I don't think it's all of it, but I do think some of it is this generation that is voting today. A lot of these kids were probably in diapers when all that was going on. A lot of these 23, 24-year-olds that are all, and she don't have a lot of that, but a lot of these people that are in their 30s and 40s that are voting for her, they have short memories. I don't think they remember that time of the 90s when we were engulfed in scandal after scandal. And I will say this, I will give Bill Clinton credit for one thing, and the one thing that he did do during that time was when he got shellacked in 94, when that House went Republican for the first time probably in decades. He saw that big government was not the answer to the country. He migrated to the middle because of that Republican House. He had to. He had no choice. And he started working with Newt, and he started working with the Republicans, and that's where you had the reforms that we had in the late 90s that helped the country get back on its feet financially. And he's given a lot of credit for the economy being good, but people don't remember it was a Republican Congress that helped him do that. She has no absolute intention of working with anybody but herself. This will not happen with her. She's not coming to the middle. If she gets elected, I'll look for her to go completely left. I think she's always been more left of him. And again, if we're wanting 8 more years of what we've had, then go to that poll and you pull that lever for Hillary Clinton, because that's what you're going to get. And we're going to get a nation that is going to border on Sharia law. We're going to get a nation that is going to be in debt up to its eyeballs, sinking every day faster, and we're going to see this politically correct anti-America sentiment continue to spread. And I heard something yesterday, and I probably shouldn't say this on the radio, but it is the truth. It seems the Clintons have a problem people dying around them. Everybody that comes against them either winds up MIA in Siberia or they wind up dead, Tom. So, I mean, I'm not so sure it's a good idea, to be coming up against the Clinton machine. Even in the last week, there's been like 4 DNC staffers that have mysteriously found bullets in the back of their head. They committed suicide with bullets in the back of their head somehow or another. And I'm not making light of that, but in a way, it just epitomizes the corruption of this whole family, this whole couple, and this whole campaign, and yet people turn a blind eye to it, and they get so worried that Donald Trump goes off the cuff and says something stupid, and that makes him without the temperament to be president, but yet she can steal billions of dollars for favors in the State Department and take money in corrupted schemes and give rogue nations favors from the United States, and that's okay. But God forbid Donald Trump say something, he don't have the temperament to be president, yet she can do that, and she does.
Let me back up a second or so. When you were talking about Bill, and all in all, Bill, I guess many people that listening to the program would say that Bill, he was a pretty good president. I think most people would probably say that. And they said that, especially following his 8 years in office and the Al Gore.
Mm-hmm.
The Al Gore campaign, and many people talked about, and Governor Phil Bredesen acknowledged this one time, that Bill was sort of wishy-washy. He was a political-oriented guy. He slapped, hugged everybody and slapped their backs, and whoever he was talking to at that time was the most important person in the world. And he gave people that feeling that you could be in a crowded room and he'd talk to you for 30 seconds, but for those 30 seconds, he made you feel important.
Right.
And people knew that. People knew that Bill was he was political. He was a political animal, and he was, whoever he was with, he liked and thought the world of. But, and he could be persuaded one way or the other. Now, Al Gore had an agenda.
He did.
Al Gore had an agenda, and Phil Bredesen said this, and Tennesseans did not like Al Gore's agenda. And Al Gore did not lose the election in Florida.
He lost it here.
He lost it in the state of Tennessee.
He did.
Because the people who know him would not vote for him. So that's interesting, and that goes back to the comment about Willie. He was, or Bill Clinton. He was, he was a political animal, and he didn't stir the water too much. And whoever he was with, if he was with Chris McDonald was the most important person in the world. He agreed with Chris. And if he was with Tom Amos, same with Tom Amos. Hillary has an agenda. She's like Al Gore. She has an agenda. And she's not the wishy-washy honey type.
No, she's not.
Type of individual.
No, she's not, Tom. And I tell you, I'm glad you said that, because I want to encourage people, if they get a chance. There's a great movie out right now, and I went to see it a few weeks ago. Dinesh D'Souza, who actually spent 8 months in a federal prison for a trumped-up charge when he did a movie about Barack Obama back before the 2012 election. But he's done another one called Hillary's America. And I would strongly suggest everyone go see that movie and go see 13 Hours before they go to these polls in November. Not that it will matter with most, but I think the knowledge to see where this Democratic Party has evolved from and where it has come to today. And I think, going back to why people support her, I've talked to my dear dad down in Cairo, and he's Southern Georgia area, and we've had many discussions over this election. My brother has too, and I, and friends and different ones. And Tom, the Democratic Party of today is not the Democratic Party that most people grew up with. My dad even said that in the 60s and 70s, our family voted Democrat at times. We had one of the most popular governors in Zell Miller. Zell Miller was a good guy. I mean, he wasn't perfect, but he was a good lieutenant governor for Georgia for years. And Zell's a Democrat. George Busby was a Democrat, and I'm just using Georgia politics. I'm sure Tennessee has had its share too. Phil Bredesen was a Democrat. Phil Bredesen wasn't perfect, but he was a decent governor. Haslam's been a good governor, real good governor. And I think that the Democratic Party, though, of the 60s and 70s has evolved into this socialist communist party through the decades because these baby boomers, such as Schumer and Pelosi and all these other ones that were radicals in the 60s, they've taken over this party. And people like Howard Dean and Michael Moore and all this face. And George Soros, let me throw him in here. He's this billionaire. He has got such a wicked agenda. And he has injected all this money into this party over the last few decades, few years, and it has evolved into this monster that looks like a communist party. It does. It literally would give any communist party in Russia a run for its money based upon what its intentions are for America. And its poster child right now is Hillary Rodham Clinton. She is their poster girl. Bernie was, but Bernie didn't have the machine behind him to win that nomination. She did. And she's going to do whatever she can to make sure that machine keeps supporting her. And this leftist agenda is going to destroy this country, Tom, if it's allowed to flourish. And we are facing a crossroads in November. And again, people can sit on their little seat of penny waste politics and be a little pansy and be a little offended at every little thing Donald Trump says and get their get their shoes in a wad. I would use another term, but I won't hear on the radio. Yeah, I'll use the shoes. We'll go with the shoes. But get their shoes in a wad and then act like that everything that he says is bad and then ignore all this evil that is coming if she gets elected. And, that's up to the people out there this morning that's listening. But I'm going to tell you that there is a dark cloud descending upon this country. It's been descending upon it for a long time. And if we want to seal our doom and head right off the cliff, then you put this party in charge in November, and you'll see Hillary's America. And it's not going to be pretty at any stretch of the imagination. Donald Trump's got a tough road ahead of him, too. Even if he is elected, there are things that he's going to have to change, Tom, that will take months, if not years. It's not going to happen overnight. He's going to face a Congress. He's going to face a media. He's going to face a ton of things, a ton of challenges to get the things done that he needs to get done. But I believe in him. And the reason I believe in him is this. And this is very simple and very to the point, but it's just the way I feel about it. He cares about America. He's not doing this for himself. He's doing this for the country. And God forbid a candidate does something for the country, because the media will excoriate him to death. But he's doing it for the nation, and that I admire in him. He'll have my admiration, win, lose, or draw. I believe he's got the country at heart.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Are you saying that Hillary Clinton does not care for her country?
I will say this, that her view of America, I do not believe, Tom, is for the country. No. Because when you start putting your own interest ahead of the nation. Look, let me just give an example. Let me go back to the State Department issue and how wicked this pay-for-play scheme has been. Was she thinking about the country when Saudi Arabia was giving her millions of dollars and she was turning a blind eye to the human rights abuses of women and gays and other people over there? When Nigeria, who is another human rights abuser, gave her husband $225 million for a speaking fee. Tom, me and you need to do that when we quit all this. We need to go out on the campaign trail or go out on the speaking fee trail and charge $225 million. You think that's a speaking fee, or do you think that's a gift to the Clinton Foundation? Come on. But that Nigerian nation is as wicked and as evil as can be, but yet they got preference in the State Department for deals economically and other things. So I'll answer your question with a question. If a candidate is doing that, do you think she has the country at heart? Of course not. She is corrupt. And, this Hillary Clinton has been doing this for so long, Tom, I don't even think she realizes how evil she is. I don't think she realizes the corruption that's coming out of her mouth. It's not about the nation. It's about her. This whole election it's my turn. It's my turn to be president. It's America's chance to elect a woman president. It's not about what's going to be the best for the country. And that's what is insanity. That's part of the insanity that's brewing out there. But yet, the people out there, as you said a while ago, nearly 50% of the country is buying into it. And that's more scary.